Job was a man of great faith and integrity. He lived in the land of Uz. Job was known for his blameless and upright character. He was a man who feared God and shunned evil. Job was also incredibly wealthy. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, a testament to God's blessings. His flocks were vast, numbering thousands of sheep, camels, oxen, and donkeys. He was considered the greatest man among all the people of the East. Job's life was a testament to his piety. He was careful to live a life pleasing to God. He regularly made sacrifices and prayed for his children. Job's heart was always turned towards righteousness. He was a shining example of faith in God. His prosperity was a visible sign of God's favor. However, Job's comfortable life was about to be shaken to its core. Unbeknownst to him, a challenge was being orchestrated in the heavenly realms. A challenge that would test the very foundation of his faith. A test that would push him to the brink of despair. This challenge originated from Satan himself. Satan, the accuser, questioned Job's motives for serving God. He insinuated that Job's piety was merely a result of his comfortable life. Satan claimed that if Job were to lose everything, he would surely curse God. God, confident in Job's unwavering faith, allowed Satan to test him. However, God set a boundary. Satan could afflict Job's possessions and children but not harm him physically. And so began a series of devastating calamities that would befall Job in rapid succession. First, Sabaean raiders attacked and stole Job's oxen and donkeys, killing his servants. Then a fire from heaven consumed his sheep and shepherds. Next, Chaldean raiders stole his camels, again killing the servants. Finally, the worst blow came when a powerful wind collapsed the house where his sons and daughters were feasting, killing all of his children. Faced with such unimaginable loss and suffering, Job's reaction was astonishing. He tore his robe and shaved his head in mourning, but he did not curse God. Instead he said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." Job's faith remained unshaken. He refused to blame God for his misfortunes. He acknowledged God's sovereignty over life and death. Even in the face of unimaginable pain, Job's heart clung to God. As news of Job's suffering spread, 3 of his friends came to comfort him. Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite arrived and sat with Job in silence for 7 days and nights. They were overwhelmed by the magnitude of his suffering. However, their initial sympathy soon gave way to accusations. They believed that Job's suffering must be a punishment for some hidden sin. They argued that God is just and therefore suffering must be a consequence of wrongdoing. Eliphaz, the oldest and most respected, spoke first. He suggested that Job must have sinned in secret. Bildad followed, claiming that Job's children must have brought God's wrath upon themselves. Zophar was even more direct, accusing Job of wickedness and hypocrisy. Job vehemently denied their accusations. He maintained his innocence, proclaiming his righteousness before God and man. He questioned why God would allow such suffering to befall an innocent man. He argued that his life had been blameless and his heart pure. Section 4. The voice from the whirlwind, God's sovereignty. The debate between Job and his friends raged on, each side entrenched in their positions. Then God himself intervened, speaking to Job out of the whirlwind. God's voice was powerful and majestic, silencing all human arguments. God questioned Job's understanding of creation and the natural order. He reminded Job of his limited perspective as a mere mortal. God described his power and wisdom in governing the universe. Job, humbled by God's presence, realized the audacity of questioning the Almighty. He acknowledged his limited understanding and repented of his words. He confessed his trust in God's wisdom and justice, even if he couldn't comprehend them. God then rebuked Job's friends for their misjudgment and instructed them to offer a sacrifice. Job, demonstrating his forgiving spirit, prayed for his friends, and God accepted his prayer. Section 5. Restoration and Legacy, Triumph of Faith. After Job's humble submission, God blessed him abundantly. His wealth was restored twofold. He received twice as many sheep, camels, oxen, and donkeys as he had before. He was also blessed with 7 sons and 3 daughters, restoring the family he had lost. Job lived a long and prosperous life, seeing his children's children to the 4th generation. He died old and full of years, a testament to God's faithfulness and mercy. The story of Job is a powerful reminder that suffering is a part of the human experience. It teaches us that faith is not about avoiding hardship, but about trusting God even in the midst of it. Job's unwavering faith, even when tested to the limit, serves as an inspiration for all who face trials and tribulations. The book of Job also highlights the limitations of human understanding when it comes to God's ways. It teaches us that God's wisdom and justice are beyond our comprehension. We may never fully understand the reasons for our suffering, but we can trust in God's goodness and sovereignty. Ultimately, the story of Job is a story of hope. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, God is present. He sees our suffering, hears our cries, and will ultimately redeem our pain.